Okay, so just take a moment to allow your eyes to close and allow yourself to begin to relax. And as you begin to comfortably relax, I'm just going to talk in the background. And as you rest, and you begin to have a sense of your breathing comfortably slowing down, and you begin to relax yourself, you begin to have this sense of focusing on the top of your head, of allowing relaxation to begin to pass down through the top of your head. Focusing around your ears, around your temple, your forehead. Relaxing, softening those muscles. Allowing that relaxation to begin to move down to your cheeks. Move down to the upper part of your neck, the lower part of your head. That relaxation beginning to gently relax the jaw muscles, allowing that jaw to hang slightly loose and relaxed and limp. And with each out-breath, any tension can be breathed out. As relaxation gets breathed in, as you breathe in that relaxation, so it can begin to spread from your head around your face, relaxing your lips and relaxing down your neck, relaxing those muscles in and around the neck, relaxing down into the shoulders. And as that relaxation spreads down the shoulders, the relaxation can move from your shoulders down your arms. And I don't know whether the relaxation will move down one arm faster than the other, or whether the relaxation will move down both arms at the same rate and speed. And you can notice how that relaxation gently flows down those arms, softening and relaxing the muscles in the upper arm, down to the muscles in the lower arm, all the way down to the hands and out to the fingertips, relaxing so much that perhaps you even notice a very slight tingling or numbness at the fingertips, or a heaviness of the hands or arms as they relax deeper and deeper. And while that relaxation relaxes deeper and deeper through your body, so it can begin to spread around your chest, your upper back, your shoulder blades, beginning to soften and relax through your body, relaxing down towards your stomach, your lower back, with those muscles just beginning the process of deep relaxation. And as they relax deeper and deeper down, so perhaps you'll notice how your breathing begins to change, how you begin to breathe more from your stomach, how each breath becomes longer, more relaxed, increasing that sense of well-being, increasing that sense of comfort and deep relaxation. As that relaxation moves down around your bum and down into your legs. And I don't know whether it'll spread down one leg faster than the other, but you can just notice as that relaxation begins to spread so peacefully, so comfortably down the upper legs, down to the lower legs, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And as you rest there so peacefully, so comfortably, so deeply relaxed, relaxing back, almost like you're resting on a cushion of air. As you continue to relax deeper and deeper, and while you continue to relax deeper and more comfortably, you can notice that with each in-breath, it's like you're breathing in the most comfortable healing light that begins to wrap around your head, pass through your head, filling your head with that healing, softening light. And as that healing light gets breathed in, so it begins to move down through your body, following that relaxation, softening, relaxing, and deeply healing within you. Spreading that light down through your neck, your shoulders, around your shoulder blades, out to your arms, down both arms, all the way to your fingertips, spreading that healing light around your chest, your upper back, spreading that healing light down through your lower back, through your stomach, and all the way down internally through your body, softening, healing, and relaxing you deeply inside and out, in your mind and body, softening, relaxing that healing light down to your bum, down your legs, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Relaxing you so deeply, so comfortably. And as you continue to drift and dream and relax deeper and deeper asleep all night long, so you can be aware of counting down in your mind, of seeing the number 300 in your mind's eye and counting backwards slowly and gently from 300. And it's okay if you occasionally lose track of where you are. It's okay if occasionally you lose track of the numbers as they pass before you, because you can pick up roughly where you left off and continue to count down deeper and deeper into the experience. And with each count, you can just go so much deeper inside. And I don't know whether you'll go twice as deep with each count, or even deeper still. And you'll keep counting until such time as it just becomes too much effort that you just let go, counting down now from 300, 299, 298, 297, 296, 295, 294, 293, 292, 291. Just continuing that count in your mind's eye while I continue talking gently in the background as you drift deeper and deeper into the experience. As you continue counting back in your mind's eye, so easily and effortlessly comfortable with the idea of losing those numbers, going deeper and deeper, while a part of your mind can have a sense of walking through a meadow towards the most beautiful oak tree in the middle of that meadow. And as you walk through the meadow, so you can smell the smells of flowers in the meadow. You can see bees and butterflies and other animals and insects. You can notice the sky, the clouds, and notice that tree in the middle of the meadow. And you can walk to that tree, feeling what it feels like to be walking through that grass. And at the tree, you can gently run your hand around the bark of the tree, feeling the feeling of that bark at the fingertips, feeling the temperature of the tree, perhaps even noticing the slight change in temperature from the side that's facing the sun compared to the side that's facing away from the sun. And as you feel round to the far side of the tree, so you notice a handle in the bark, and you use that handle to open a door, and you see a spiral staircase inside the tree, and you begin to descend that spiral staircase, descending down 20 steps. And as you begin to descend, so you can notice something strange, that this spiral staircase seems to lead out to the most beautiful country garden. And so you descend those steps from 20, 19, 18, going deeper and deeper, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, going deeper and deeper, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, all the way, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way, and you find yourself walking off those steps into the most beautiful country garden, and you head over to a bench, and you sit down on that bench, and you drift deeper into this experience. Just imagine closing your eyes. And just imagine what it would be like for that imagined you to be imagining closing their eyes. And then as a part of you continues to listen to this, and listen to the words that I say, and the way that I say those words, another part of you can begin to respond to the words that I say, and respond to the way that I say those words. And you don't have to worry about how comfortable you can feel as this track continues. You don't have to worry about whether there's anything you're going to need to do consciously. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to remember everything. that I say, or whether you're going to forget everything that I say. Because consciously, none of that is important. All you need to worry about consciously is whether you're going to listen along or just let your mind wander. And it's up to you, it's your choice, whether you listen along or just let your mind wander. You don't have to worry about how much of the process that your unconscious mind goes through. You don't have to worry about how much of that you're aware of. All you have to do is just have this playing in the background of your mind. And just enjoy a few moments separation from everyday living, from everyday stresses and strains and problems. Just enjoying that time that can allow you to reduce that sort of level of background tension as you pay attention. So that you can deal better with everyday stresses and strains when you've listened to this. You know, if someone rated on a scale of 0 to 10 that 0 was they're incredibly calm and relaxed, and 10 was they're incredibly stressed and anxious. If they rated that on an average day they were an 8 or a 9, by taking time to listen to a track like this, taking time just to separate from reality just for a little while, allows that stress level to become less. Allows them to go back down to maybe a 2 or a 3. So that whereas before the background stress level was an 8, meaning that the smallest little thing would knock them up to a 9 or a 10, now the background stress level would be a 2, meaning that the smallest little thing would knock them up to a 3. And they would just deal with things so much better and more effectively. Now, I don't know whether you're going to listen to this every day or every other day, or maybe every third day, or maybe you'll only need to listen to this once a week or once a month, or perhaps you'll only need to listen to this every now and then just as a top-up. And consciously you can be aware of all those different things around you. There are sounds that perhaps you haven't been paying attention to. There are thoughts that can occasionally drift into your mind. There are feelings that you can be aware of every now and then. And every now and then you'll just want to shift position or move just a little bit. partly to get a little bit more comfortable, and partly just to check that reality is still out there. And you know, some people use their visualization skills to upset themselves and to worry. Other people use their visualization skills to empower themselves. And as you listen to this, I don't know what you'll see in your mind. It could be that you just drift off into an experience that perhaps you haven't thought of for a while. Or it could be that every now and then you just see different colours or shades or shapes, or different types of light or darkness. It could be that you see things that are sharp and in focus, or see things that aren't as in focus, while the unconscious mind carries on working in its own unique way. Now, as you listen to this, I'm just going to take you through a more structured approach. Just going to take you through a structured experience that can allow you to travel backwards and forwards in time on an unconscious level. And can allow that unconscious part of you to have the opportunity now to make those changes. Now I know that there's lots of knowledge you've gained over the years. I know there are lots of skills you've gained. I know that looking back on various memories, there are things that you would have liked to have heard back then as a child or as a young adult. I know that if you could go back and give yourself advice, or advise yourself on what action to take and what to do, or even just advise yourself on how to cope with those things that actually, regardless of what you chose to do, you wouldn't have been able to change. I know that a part of you would know the answers and would know what advice you would have needed. And part of you would know what you needed to have heard to make each individual experience in the past just an isolated experience, so that you hold on to the learning about keeping yourself safe. You hold on to learning about signs you can look out for in the future. Yet as well as holding on to those signs, holding on to keeping yourself safe, You don't let those past events rule your future. So, for example, if someone's in an abusive relationship in the past, they can learn about the signs to look out for, so that if any of those signs happen in the future, they know what decision you need to make. Yet at the same time, they understand that that experience was just an experience. That experience with that person was about that person. And if someone has an abusive relationship and the man was really horrible, it doesn't mean that all men are really horrible. It just means that that man gave you an opportunity to learn what signs to look out for from the few men that are horrible. And it's that learning that's the important part. That understanding that you can learn something from an experience without tarring everyone else with the same brush. And it can be a powerful experience to have, to be able to learn from experiences without tarring everyone in the future with the same brush as those people in the past. So as that conscious part of you perhaps just listens in the background or follows along or chooses to just ignore this and drift off elsewhere, I'll just begin to talk to that unconscious part of you. And what I'd like you to do is to just begin to get a sense that you're floating up in the air above your whole lifetime's events. Almost like all the events of your entire life are mapped out on the floor. And you can see down there in the distance the earliest memories, leading all the way to the ones that are just beneath you, that are all the most recent memories. And you can drift all the way back into the past. Just drifting over all those memories. You don't really have to be aware of what's in every single memory beneath you. But it's almost like each little event is encapsulated in its own little box. and that you're drifting back, looking down into the roofs of all those boxes, drifting back, or perhaps it's almost like lots of slideshows, drifting all the way back. Perhaps it's something else, the way it's laid out for you specifically. But you can tell from looking down on them that each one is just a different memory, a different moment in time. And you know, the interesting thing about a moment in time is that it only lasts for a moment. And you can drift all the way back so that you're looking down into a memory of you just a couple of years after you were born, maybe even earlier than that. And you can look down at that you and just see that you. And you know, the interesting thing is that some memories are happy and bring us pleasure to think about. Other memories bring us pain when we think about them, depending on how we think about them. And some memories you just feel indifferent to. Now as you look down at that you, that baby you, out of the sort of peripheral vision, just on an unconscious level, you can have an awareness as if all the memories are colour-coded, so that you've got all of the positive, happy memories that have led to the positive aspects of who you are, that have led to all of your strengths. All of those are colour-coded in one colour, and you can notice how all the ones that have led to creating problems for you in the future are colour-coded in another colour. And from this distance, you can't see each memory particularly clearly. You can just have an awareness that it's down there. And I'd like you just slowly to begin to drift along that sort of timeline, looking down at each memory as you go. And all irrelevant memories, memories that haven't led to any significant change in who you've become, you can just imagine taking those out of this timeline for now. And remember, at the moment you still can't see any of the memories particularly clearly. And throughout this whole process you can keep distance from each memory, almost as if there's a barrier between you and the memories, so any emotion that radiates from a memory can't radiate through this barrier. in the same way that a film can be on in the background while you're doing something else. And the film could be an intensely happy film, or it could be an intensely scary film. Yet if you're busy doing something else, it creates a barrier and stops that sort of memory, stops that sort of emotion from getting to you. And what you can do is now also get rid of all the memories just from during this experience that have led to all of the positive parts of you. So those are still there in your mind, but just from this experience, so that all you're left with to work on are the ones you need to work on, are those memories you need to work on. All those positive memories can be in your unconscious mind still exerting all their influence on keeping you positive, keeping all those positive aspects of you there. And all the neutral memories can still be in your mind, having any influence they have on who you've become. And under normal circumstances, you can still recall any of those positive or neutral memories. None of those will be changed at all. What we're working on here is what's left, which is just that line of memories that have led to the development of problems in the future. As you look down at that timeline, that sort of line of events that have happened, with only the negative events down there and the colour that those negative events are, you can start right at the beginning. At the very, very first negative event, looking down at that event. And while you look down at that event, you can see what's happening in that event. And you know from up here looking down on that event, you have the power to project, almost like a holographic projection, to project a version of yourself down into that event. And you can look down and you can see that projected version of yourself down there, helping that you in that situation, doing what you would have wanted that you to have done to help in that situation. It could be just something that you says to that you in that situation. It could be something that you does for that you in that situation. And even if that you in that situation can't change the situation, they can help that young you in that situation to be able to move out of that situation, leaving the events of that situation back there in the past in that specific situation, so that it doesn't have any impact on anything in the future from that event. So for example, and you can do this with all the other events as we move through this. So for example, it could be that you projected down into that situation could pick that other you up, the younger you up, and take you out of the situation. It could be that you projected down in that situation effectively stands up to and deals with whatever, say perhaps another person that's causing problems. It could be that you in that situation that's projected down there just hugs you and holds you and tells you it's okay, everything's going to be alright. You're going to be able to move on successfully from this. There's almost an infinite number of different things that you projected into that situation and all these other situations can do to help to resolve it and leave it in the past. Helping to give you the strength and the courage that I know you have to move forward, because some of those younger yous in specific situations weren't able to use that internal strength and courage that over the years you've developed and used in different areas of your life. Sometimes with your knowledge, other times just without your knowledge. And you know, some things will look a bit more hazy and be a bit harder to identify than others, yet you'll know that beneath that haze, so if, for example, there's a memory with an incredibly strong emotion, that barrier might become a bit hazy so that the emotion definitely can't get to you because you can't even see what the memory is. You just know there's something down there. And that projection can be down there working on that, saying and doing exactly the right thing to say and do to resolve that issue, to keep everything in the past, to support yourself back then. Now the thing about having a projection of yourself is that you can address many memories at once. You can send down hundreds of projections all at the same time, working simultaneously on memories. And you don't have to be aware of all of them at the same time. They can just be aware of themselves, doing that work on an unconscious level. And you can send a projection down to say and do what that projected you needs to say and do. To say and do the right thing. To say and do what needed to happen to make it so that that experience was just an experience. And to help it to remain just in the past. Now I don't know what that projected you will say or do. That projected you has the strength to do anything, and the confidence to do anything, and the ability to make all the right decisions. And the interesting thing is that with all of these memories that are being worked on, they can play through once how they originally played through, and then they can rewind and play through again with the projected you there making the changes. And then they can rewind and play through a couple of times, and you don't have to have any conscious awareness of that happening. Rewinding and fast forwarding just backwards and forwards, so that you keep getting a chance to unconsciously view that memory. And doing this with all the memories, just rewinding and fast forwarding a number of times. Because obviously if you were to go at normal speed through every memory, you'd spend a lifetime going through all the memories. So the quickest way to do this is to make each memory almost like it's just a flash of light, rewinding and fast forwarding so fast that if you had a conscious awareness of it, it would be just like a flash of light. But unconsciously that would be long enough for you to see how it can be handled differently, and how that makes a difference, and how this whole process prevents the memory from having an impact on the future. So that you hold on to all the common sense learning. So that you hold on to making sure that each memory is just a specific memory, rather than generalizing what you learn and applying it to situations that it doesn't need to apply to. You know, I'm grateful, as you probably are also grateful, to your unconscious mind for being so good at generalizing survival responses on your behalf. But occasionally there are things that you know how to deal with. You just didn't know back then. And so now you don't need all those survival programmings to run unconsciously, because you know consciously what you should do in certain situations. And as well as dealing with other experiences that I don't know, and that even the conscious part of you hasn't thought about for years, and dealing with experiences that you do know consciously, yet you've never really mentioned them perhaps. As a part of you zips backwards and forwards through all those memories, with that projected you helping out in each one, saying the right words, almost like that projected you is incredibly busy helping out that you in each memory, always saying and doing the right thing that gets the result that you need. And remember, it's just a memory. It's not real life. It's been and gone. It's just a memory. And because it's just a memory, just like anything else in your imagination or in your mind, it can be represented in any way you want. You know, you can imagine a memory, and then you can imagine a person in a memory. And you can imagine that person in that memory having a head of a dog. And you would know that in real life, the person doesn't have a head of a dog. But because it's just a memory, you could have the person having a head of a dog, because it's just in your mind. In the same way that, because it's just a memory, You could send down a projected version of yourself, and instinctively you would know that projected version of yourself was never in the real incident. Yet, real incidents have been and passed, and are no longer active. It's the memories that are active, and when it's just a memory, you can adjust a memory. And by adjusting memories, you'll know that you've adjusted it. Yet when you recall it, that adjustment can help. In the same way that if you recalled something that was a bit scary, say a person that came across as being a bit scary, you could make them look silly. Give them sort of wobbly eyes, or give them a big nose, weird hair, change the colour of their hair or the shape of their face or body. You can make them look really silly. And you could then put really silly music to that memory. And then you could have them dance around to that really silly music. And you would know that it's not real, that it's just a memory. But because the real event has passed and is no longer active, and the memory is what was causing the problems, you can adjust the memory so that it makes a different emotion if you think about it. And some memories will have one emotion to them. Other memories will have two. When you think back around all of these negative memories, although you won't be able to experience the individual emotions, I'd like you to be aware of the entirety of the emotions. Some things can create anxiety. Some things can create panic. Yet, at the same time as creating anxiety and panic, they can create a sense of pleasure. And when the memory gets stored as a survival memory, because you need to be aware of the anxiety and the panic to survive, you can lose the awareness of the pleasure, even though the pleasure was there as well. And sometimes people then seek out those same experiences and they repeat patterns. And they end up wanting that pleasure. And the same process happens, for example, with anger. That sometimes you can think back on a memory and be aware that back then in that memory you felt really anxious and really scared. Yet just before you felt really anxious and scared, you felt really angry and really motivated to want to do something, to want to lash out. Yet because you couldn't lash out because of the situation, you ended up being terrified and scared, and you ended up remembering that part because that saves your life. Yet because you remembered that part and completely blanked out the anger part, in future situations, you end up reacting to the same pattern when it occurred throughout life, with that same anger feeling, yet without someone stepping in and putting the part of the pattern that created the anxiety feeling in place. So some of those memories down there will have two emotions to them. They'll perhaps have an anxiety emotion, and perhaps have either a pleasurable emotion or an anger emotion that's been hidden from view for all these years. And you know, one of the things that projected you will be doing down there is just putting the experience in context, putting the experience in the past, explaining to those younger yous that it was appropriate at that moment, with that person's understanding, with that old you's level of understanding and knowledge, to respond the way they used to respond. Whereas the projected you has more wisdom, more knowledge, and direct access to all of your life's resources and strengths and skills and abilities. And you know, there are many gifts to that projected you. And one of the gifts that projected you has is the ability just to touch a younger version of yourself and just create anesthesia. So for example, if there are any experiences that crop up where a younger version of yourself was injured in any way or experienced any kind of pain, that projected you can just touch that younger you and all the pain will disappear. All the pain will just disappear. And you know, that projected you is assertive. They're very assertive in a positive way. They're not authoritarian, they're not bossy, they're not aggressive. They're just calm and assertive. And the way they come across means that what they say gets listened to. So if that projected you tells an adult, I'm sorry, but actually this is the way things are going to be, they will say it in a way that gets accepted, and the other adults in the memory will just toe the line and do as that assertive you does and says. And you know, the one gift that every single human being has, the one thing every single one of us has in common, is that we're all like blades of grass. Every single human being is a beautiful being. And collectively, when you look at all of the human beings, we can all look beautiful together. Yet every single human being has one thing in common, and that is that every single living human being is different. We all have different hobbies, different habits, different personalities, different interests, different levels of skill in different areas of our lives. There are no two human beings anywhere on the planet that are the same. And that's what makes us all so wonderful as human beings. And some things we disagree over with each other. And the best human beings respect the fact that everyone else has differing opinions to each other. And some things we agree with each other. And remember, just like a fairy godmother might do for Cinderella, what that projected you says and does can become reality in those memories. And that projected you can say the right thing to that young you. And the interesting thing about struggling is that when you achieve something, you've really earned it. Someone that doesn't struggle never earns what they achieve. And that projected you in all of those memories can whiz backwards and forwards, running those memories backwards and forwards over and over again. Just sorting each memory out. Saying and doing what it was that was needed back then in the past in those memories. And there are a number of areas where you've had skills in life where you've been able to do things that if you just moved them to another area, for example, if you're confident at something, that projected you can take that confidence from one area of your life and put it into the you that's in another situation, in another area of your life, so that you are confident in that area as well. And you know, some events are worth failing. The greatest reward for some events are when you fail, and your unconscious mind knows what events are good to fail at, and what events you can always fail at for your own benefit, and for your own survival, and for your future. Now, as all of these memories change, as hundreds of different projected yous go down and work on many memories, some worse than others, some just a little bit bad and not too bad really, every single change will have a knock-on effect with the future from this point on. Everything you've been working on, and everything you'll be working on while you listen to this, will have an impact on your life in the future. And I don't know whether you'll literally wake up in the morning a changed person, or whether it'll take a day or two. And I don't know at what point you'll be listening to this when you don't really need to. You're just doing it almost like for security, just to make sure your unconscious mind really has dealt with everything fully and honestly. And you know, sometimes in the past people have treated you unfairly and made judgments and made decisions based on their unfair treatment. Yet that projected you in those situations can say and do the right thing that helps you to understand that actually it's all been for your benefit. A bit like the farmer whose son goes and finds some horses, wild horses, brings them home. And the villagers say to the farmer, you know, you're so lucky, your son goes out and he just happens to find some wild horses roaming around. And the farmer just says, maybe. And then the son is trying to break in one of those horses and gets thrown off and breaks his leg. And the villagers say, you know, that's so unlucky that your son got thrown from the horse. You know, had he not found them, that wouldn't have happened, because he's now got a broken leg. And the farmer just says, maybe. And then the army come to conscript young people and take them out to war. And the farmer's son can't go because he's got a broken leg. And the villagers say, you know, it's so lucky that your son's got a broken leg. Had he not been thrown off the horse that he found, he would have been taken out to war and potentially could have got killed. And the farmer just says, maybe. And you know that there's a story about a toad who's hopping along this path. And he hears this little voice saying, help me, help me. And he's hopping along, and then he sees this hole. This sort of little, it's like on a bridleway, and he sees this little pit in the ground. And he tries to reach down to help this other little frog out. And while he's reaching down, trying to reach that other frog, the frog says, why don't you jump down here? I can climb on your back and get out. The frog says, yes, but if I jump down there and you climb on my back to get out, who's going to help me get out of the hole? And the frog says, yes, but there's no other way out. And he says, well, you know, you could always try harder to get out. And that little frog down the hole says, yes, but I don't think I can. I'll just stay here and I'll just let myself get killed. You just go on again. So this other frog thinks, well, you know, if you're not going to accept my help, then I'm going to have to just go and leave you. And this frog is bouncing down the road, and then next minute the other frog overtakes him. And this frog starts hopping after him and catches up and says, how did you get out of the hole? I thought you couldn't get out. And why are you going so fast? And suddenly seeming so motivated. And the other frog says, well, you know, when you came to help me, there wasn't a truck coming down the path. Now there is. It's best not to be in the hole anymore. You know, there was this monkey in a rainforest. And this monkey would always worry about everything. The monkey would always worry, you know, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, if that happens, this is going to go wrong and that's going to go wrong. It was always worrying every single thing it was worrying about. Thinking, what if all the bananas just happen to die? I won't have any bananas to eat. And if I don't have any bananas to eat, I'm going to starve, and that'd be horrible. I would die. And everything you can imagine, this monkey would worry about. And then this monkey thought, oh my God, what would happen if the sky fell down? If the sky fell down, all of us would die.
Every one of us in this rainforest would die if the sky fell down. And this had the monkey really sort of worried. Then all of a sudden the monkey had this big crash and bang and wallop. And the sound of breaking branches and then a thud. And this monkey really panicked. He went running off and he found the gazelles. Said to the gazelles, "The sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. I just heard it, the sky's falling down." And the gazelles got in a fluster. They got all panicky and thought, "Oh my God, this monkey's so panicky, it must be true, it must be true." And the gazelles ran and ran and ran and bashed their heads around and they were all panicky and all sort of flustered. And they found some other animals. They found some wild beasts and said, "The sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. We've got it on good authority. Someone actually heard the sky is falling down. We're all going to die." And those wild beasts ran around and marched around and they're all panicking. "Oh my God, the sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. We're all going to die, the sky's falling down." And those wild beasts went and found the gorillas. And they told the gorillas, said, "The sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. We've got it on good authority. The sky's falling down. The gazelles have told us that the sky's falling down." So I thought, well, if the gazelles have told you, it must be true. The sky must be falling down. And they ran and they started panicking. They started, "Oh my God, we're all going to die. The sky's falling down." And they ran around and they found one of the lions. And the lion was all laid back. The king of the jungle just laid back. And the lion said, "What's all the commotion? Why are you so flustered? What's happening?" And the gorilla said, "Well, the sky's falling down. We got it on good authority that the sky's falling down. We're all going to die." And the lions thought, well, if the gorillas believe it, it must be true. The sky must be falling down. And the lions started running around telling all the other animals, "The sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. We're all going to die. You've got to get out of here. The sky's falling down." And the whole time there's this owl circling above, looking down at all these animals, thinking, what on earth is going on down there? All these animals are panicking. All the animals of the jungle are now in a panic. And the owl flies down and asks the lions, "What's going on? Why is everyone panicking?" And the lions say, "Well, the sky's falling down. We've got it on good authority from the gorillas that the sky's falling down." So the owl flew to the gorillas and said, "Gorillas, what's happening?" And they said, "The sky's falling down, the sky's falling down. We've got it on good authority from the wild beasts that the sky's falling down." So the owl went to the wild beasts and said, "What's happening? What's happening?" And they said, "Well, the sky's falling down. We've got good authority from the gazelles. The sky's falling down." So the owl went back to the gazelles and asked them, and they said the same thing. And then they said, "We got it from the monkey." So the owl went back to the monkey, and the monkey said, "Well, yes, I heard it. I heard the crashing, I heard the breaking branches, I heard the thud as the sky hit the ground. The sky's falling down. A piece of it's already fallen down." So the owl picked up the monkey, flew the monkey, said, "I'm going to take you to where you heard this. I'm going to see this with my own eyes." And then all of a sudden there was this cracking and crashing and banging, and then a thud. And the owl said, "Is that what you heard?" The monkey said, yes, the sky's falling down." So they flew to where this was. And they looked, and they saw this coconut on the ground. And the monkey felt stupid and thought, how did I not notice it was a coconut? I never looked, I just heard it. I didn't look to see what it was, I just heard it and thought the sky was falling. And the monkey thought, oh my God, what have I done? All the animals of the forest are panicking. And the monkey knew what he had to do at that point. And he asked the owl to carry him to the top of a mountain. And the owl carried him to the top of the mountain. And the monkey shouted so loud every animal in the forest could hear from the top of the mountain. And he told all the animals, it's okay, it was a mistake. He checked, he had a look to see what was really going on. And when he checked, he found that it wasn't the sky falling after all, that they're all safe, that everything's okay, that he just made a mistake. The sky wasn't falling, and all the animals were relaxed and were really grateful and relieved. And the monkey never made that mistake again. And you know that projected you can continue to make those memories whiz backwards and forwards, saying and doing what it needs to say and do to correct each one. And you know that as you've grown up, there'll be memories that projected you will be going into and dealing with more grown-up adult situations and helping the you in those memories to deal with those adult situations and to move on so that the adult situations stay where they are as just memories, whizzing them backwards and forwards, making all the necessary changes. And the important thing is that there'll be a thread that runs through every single one of those incidents down there. A thread that you can just grab onto anytime you need to use any of the memories positively to help someone in the future. So that actually you feel grateful and you feel, in a bizarre sort of way, pleased. And that will make sense to you on some level. You feel pleased that you went through those situations and overcame them so that you can then help others. You know, it's surprising what you can achieve when you think about things a little differently. And when you look at something from outside of the box, you have a different perspective than when you're inside the box. And you can take some time now, some peace and quiet, when I'll stop talking. And your unconscious mind can fully and honestly integrate everything and act on everything that's for your benefit, that's been of use to you, that's useful to you, so that when you open your eyes next, that'll be a signal to say that you've moved on and made necessary changes. Now, I don't know at what point you'll discover that you only dream for about 20 to 25% of the night. I don't know at what point you'll discover that you sleep for the correct number of hours throughout the night, waking feeling refreshed and alert and revitalized. And I don't know at what morning you'll awaken with a sense that it's almost like a weight has been lifted. And I don't know what kind of a positive impact it will have on your relationships throughout your life. And what new discoveries you'll find and changes you'll discover. And so for now, your unconscious mind, before reintegrating so that your unconscious mind and your conscious mind can all go back to being one, so that you become a whole. It's a little bit like yin and yang. On one side you've got that sort of consciousness with a little bit of unconsciousness just in there. And on the other side you've got all that unconsciousness with a little bit of consciousness in there. You know, with every bit of pleasure in a life, there's a little bit of pain. And with every pain there's a little bit of pleasure, because without one, you've got nothing to compare the other to. It's a bit like flipping a coin. Every coin has two sides. And it's impossible to have just one side. And when one side's showing, you can't see the other side, but you know it exists. In the same way that if someone is really, really hot, they might go into a swimming pool to cool down. But if you stay in the swimming pool too long, it gets really uncomfortable and cold. So you get out of the swimming pool back into that hot, so that you can warm up and be comfortable again. Yet if you'd never experienced pain, how would you know what pleasure is? If you've never experienced sadness, how would you know what happiness is? And you know what you need to do. And you know you'll do it well.